I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be shorter or longer than normal. But welcome to the final episode of Deltarune Chapter 5. We're finishing it today, no matter what. And we were trying to seal the fountain, but something is happening. Is it the night? Is it something else? Let's find out. Why are we still here? No. Someone just made a second fountain. Is it the night? Yeah. Hey! Leave it to me. Flowery's going after the knight. Why is the knight trying to kidnap Asgore, though? You think you can outspeed a flower? Yes, apparently. What? Leafing so soon? You're not the only one that can start a battle. Oh, Flowery's gonna fight. This is fascinating because we're not even in this battle. Some enemies show up. Try running away now. Flowery spared Florida. Looks like it's just you and me. Take this. Okay. How did you like my Girona? You can ignore my fake statistics. Who needs stats anyway? I've got a bouquet of moves where that came from. Seems like you still don't get it. Nothing is stronger than a flower streak. Well, apparently something is. Flowery, no! You were like the one I was least invested in, but still, no! Flowery! Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Flowery! Flowery, say something! It's really fitting that it's as, wow, I almost called him Azrael. It's really fitting that it's, Rousey, because he, was the one who was so aggressively hating on Flowery the entire time, which is ironic, yes, I know, because of Undertale and Flowey being, Azrael, so. Really? You know, your magic can't heal this, so why? Because I have to try, you know? Flowery! Flowery, are you okay? I'm fine, princess. I just need a little water. Damn it. Flowers really are useless, aren't they? They sit around looking beautiful, then they wither away. Now, our caretaker is gone and we'll take care of you. Give you light and water and stuff. And then we'll go and get Asgore back. Susie, how sweet you are. Everyone listen carefully to me. Us plants are neither darkeners nor lighteners. We are living beings that take on new consciousness in the dark. We can feel things others can't understand. Something horrible is stirring underneath the town. Yeah, we have to go into the... God, what's it called? The bunker or whatever? A darkness beyond your imagination. Susie, Chris, the road ahead of you is draped in shadow, but I know you can do it, as long as you stay together. You two have the inner light that can save this world. Yeah, we know that. There's the prophecy. I just wish I wasn't so useless. You aren't useless, Flowery. Having something to take care of. Gave Asgore purpose, too. Just being a flower, that's enough for him. Rally. You're not half bad yourself, you know that? Maybe in another life we could have been friends. And he's gone. Yeah, the broken stem. You two, go seal the fountain, okay? I'll stay here. Alright. A flower torn in half. So we can't go back. He just had to go and be dramatic, didn't he? Idiot. So there is a second fountain. Yeah, here it is. And on top of that, the knight who created the second fountain, Chris, also kidnapped Asgore. In the same way that, like, he tried to kidnap Toriel and Undyne and all, right? Actually, I think he did kidnap Undyne. Like, that never got resolved. Sorry, give me a second. Okay. Chris. Just seal it. Yeah, I'm not even doing anything here. It's just automatically doing it. So we're definitely going to have some stuff to do in the quote-unquote real world now. Flowery! Okay, Seth, blue, aqua, green, orange. There's still a yellow one. Yeah, yellow. Yeah. Yeah, because the gold and yellow are different. Chris, stay here. I'm gonna find something to help. Unfortunately, I don't think there is anything that can help at this point. It's a broken container for a golden flower. You dug through the soil. In the soil were two things. One, a packet of seeds from the golden flower. They are covered in warning labels. You took the seeds. The second thing was a piece of paper. On the piece... Why is this going so slowly? That's concerning. On the piece of paper was a code? It says shelter... Yeah, the shelter, not the bunker. Yeah, so we got the shelter code. You gripped the paper... Why was there the shelter code in there, though? And with both hands, began to tear it to... Chris! Hey, I got tape. Help him out a sec. Hey, is that? It's a bit ripped, but I can still read it. 0915199X. Chris, we got another code! Yeah, Chris was trying to tear it apart. Was Chris being possessed there? Hey, just don't stand there. Tape him up. Because we've seen what's happened when Chris has been possessed before. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to share for now. Blue and yellow share. That's cute. Because they're in love. Oh, yeah, I should explain. Before we sealed the first fountain, Flowery talked to me. And told me that Asgore used to be the police chief. Oh, really? Interesting. And still had his shelter code buried in Flowery's soil. Okay, so you knew about that. He told me not to tell anybody about it, but... Guess he told you too, huh? No, actually. Anyway, let's get out of here. Fast. I can't interact with them at all, because they're just flowers now. Well, it's the middle of the night. Back to reality again, huh? Chris, we couldn't stop them. How much longer are they going to keep taking more people? And how much longer are those people going to be safe? Yeah, everything's not even cleaned up yet from the... We don't need to go to the beach, right? Not the two of us. I was just seeing if I could. Hey, Chris? I know this probably isn't good timing. Maybe it's actually the worst timing, but... Would you mind walking me home? Oh, we actually get to finally see Susie's home? There's something I want to talk to you about. I'll walk with you. Thanks, Chris. So where's Susie's home? Okay, right now it's like... We can't seem to interact with anything. Hey, the lights are still up. Kinda. Huh. We don't know where Susie's home is, though, right? So, about what I wanted to say. It's like, you know... So we can't interact with anything, there's no one around. I assume we're not going to be able to, like, actually, like, visit anyone in the aftermath of this chapter, like we do in a lot of the chapters. Granted, we had some time at the beginning, but still. Yeah, I just want to look around because I don't want to possibly miss anything. Not that I know where Susie's home is in the first place, so... Chris, you know, that's not really what I meant, right? Not over there. Wait, is this where Susie lives? But you want to go to our home. Okay. That's what I'm getting from that, right? That was Susie's place? She lives in one of the apartments? Okay, we can still go down here. I guess you and me make a pretty good team, right? I've just been thinking about that. Thinking about us. Okay, she has more to say down here, though. So I'm assuming that means we're not going to our home. At least, not yet. Again, though, we don't know anything about where her home is. Hey, not over there. She's only, like, she's telling me where we can't go. We're going to the school. Is she, like, living in the closet? Since that day in the closet, since our first adventure, kind of feels like all this has been our special Chris and Susie thing. Our thing no one can take away. Our secret. Our adventures. Our thing that's just better. If it's just the two of us. You feel the same way, right, Chris? Yeah. Yeah, so we're going back here. It's specifically forcing us to go back here. There's nothing we can interact with. No one to talk to. Is Susie living in the closet up here? I guess what I want to say is... Because we already figured that she might be homeless. So this is really curious. Chris, this can't just be our adventures anymore. People are in actual danger. Your dad is in actual danger. We can't mess up anymore. We have to tell someone. Someone closer to the shelter codes. Oh, we can't tell Carol. Someone who can help us fight. Chris, this can't just be a me and you thing. It needs to be Noelle. Okay, Noelle is good. Noelle we can trust. I agree with that. Just not Carol. Chris. Thanks for walking me home. Yeah, she's living in the closet. She's living in the... In Rousey's Dark World. She's definitely homeless. That's absolute confirmation, I think. I mean, also it obviously tells us that she sees the Dark World as her home, rather than, like, if she does have a home in that apartment building. Maybe she has, like, there's been, like, thoughts about maybe she has a really bad parenting situation, like a parent who just does not give a shit about her, or, you know, multiple parents, but, yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that. So, we know the next chapter is coming sometime next year. We don't know when, but sometime next year. Hopefully by the same time. By June. Oh, hold on. There's something more here. We're not done. There's a post-credit scene. Aw. Yeah, this is Susie's home. She's made a home here. Welcome, Noelle. Oh, that's cute. They made a room for her. Yeah, she's actually living in this room. Oh, and the pie, that's cute. That's a good send-off. But what about us? What about Chris? Because there's still a lot of mystery involving them. To be continued. Yeah. In Chapter 6. So yeah, there wasn't much of an after portion this time. Interestingly. So we can go back in. I'm going to go back in briefly because I want to see if maybe now that we finished and enrolled credits, we can, like, I really want to see if we can get that interaction. If not, we'll just end it. But, let's go to Castle, Foyer. Because if we don't have that interaction, it's just not going to be available to us. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there was something we messed up on, like involving Seth and Aqua or something, but we just don't have that interaction. I don't know. And again, we could go back and do try the pink fight more, but I don't think we're going to be able to do much there. At least I'm not going to be able to. I'm not great at those really long fights that are, like, already, like, difficult and complicated. Like, I don't think I ever actually was able to defeat Jevil. I don't think. Just as an example. But yeah, so that's Chapter 5. Chapter 6, like I said, is coming sometime next year. This part was definitely short, a lot shorter than the hour-long parts, or 45 minutes, hour-long we typically tried to have. But like I said, no matter how much shorter or how much longer this was going to be the final part. And this chapter, it might be one of my least favorite. It's definitely not as good as some of the others. It's not bad. None of these chapters have been bad. But this one definitely felt like the calm before the storm. Like, I love the stuff at the beginning with the festival, and especially regarding Susie and Noelle. And I love how this is setting up for Noelle to be fully inducted into the team. Because that was always something that needed to happen ever since Noelle did temporarily join us in Chapter 2. But the entire stuff with the flowers and that entire world and Asgore, while good, hell, even great, that entire storyline felt, I'll be honest, a little out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't completely out of nowhere, because there was obviously set up for it with Asgore and everything we had been hearing about him and talking to him about before this. But compared to other things in this game, compared to everything going on with the Knight and trying to get into the shelter and all the stuff going on with Noelle, it's like the Asgore stuff from previous chapters felt like super minor overworld stuff that we would only get while we're in the quote-unquote real world. And so including that as like the main focus of this chapter felt really random. But I feel that's important. I feel that's a big deal that it feels so out of place. Like I said, I think this chapter is the calm before the storm. Chapters 6 and 7, I think, are going to be so ungodly intense. And I think that the next chapter is probably going to be so incredibly, like, balls to the wall, that Chapter 6 is probably going to end on a really heavy fucking note. And I can already guess at what it's going to be. I think Chapter 6, this is a prediction, I don't normally do these, but I think when Chapter 6 happens, either during the chapter or at the very end of the chapter, Susie is going to find out about Chris. about Chris being possessed, opening these dark worlds, and being the problem. And I think in Chapter 7, we're going to take control of Susie. I think in Chapter 7, Susie is going to become the true main hero of this story. Because from the beginning, she's been set up to be as such. We're going to play as Susie, I believe, in Chapter 7. And we're going to save Chris, Rousey, everyone. And I think that in Chapter 6, we're also going to find out the identity of the Knight. Because we definitely have to find out about the identity before Chapter 7, before the final chapter. I think we're going to find out the identity of the Knight. The biggest theory that everyone has is that it's Des, December Holiday, Noelle's older sister. And everything seems to be pointing towards that. The fact that the end of this shows us preparing for Noelle's arrival. I think over the next 2 chapters, we're going to learn everything about Susie's home life and backstory. We're going to learn so much more about what's happening with Chris and how Carol is involved in it. We're going to get all the answers. And I believe that because of this, the next 2 chapters will be longer as well. They're going to be longer, they're going to be more intense, and it's going to get really fucking crazy. And I'm so excited for that. This game is one of my favorites of all time. And if we really nail the landing here, it could be even in my top 3 or... I don't know if it... I really honestly kind of doubt it'll surpass Detroit Become Human as my favorite. But I think it could at least reach top 3 status. But it really depends on how they handle these final 2 chapters. I'm very excited and a bit scared, admittedly, to see where it goes. But yeah. And I want to make clear, by the way, despite me not liking this chapter as much, despite me finding it to be a little bit random and, you know, the calm before the storm, there is so much about this chapter I did love. The characters, the flowers themselves, outside of maybe Flowery, like, I really got invested in them. Especially Seth. I don't know why, but I just really love Seth. I can't tell you exactly why. But I do want to say, I do want to see that Seth scene. And so what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to record separately than this. I'm going to, I'm going to stop this recording. I'm going to start a recording to get to see that scene. I'll watch it on YouTube because I know it's on YouTube. And I will, I'll edit that into the end of this. So I'll cut here and I'll be back in a minute or in a second for you or whatever with the break scene between Aqua and Seth that, again, I was suggested to make sure I check out. And I'm very curious about that, so we'll finish off this playthrough with that. Okay, and we will begin with this interaction. This is Aqua and Seth. Once again, we'll finish off our playthrough of Deltarune Chapter 5 with this. Let's see what this interaction is and why I've been suggested to definitely check it out. So, my name is Aqua and I'm a girl. Seth, are you a girl too, or boy? What? A real tactician never reveals any unnecessary information. Ooh, you mean you don't know? Shut up, of course I know. Well, I'm a girl and yellow's a boy. Hey, I'm a boy, I'm a cowboy, and green's a chef. Is that your gender? Seth, whether you have an answer or not, is it not all the beauty of the kaleidoscope of life? Thanks, everyone. That's right. Okay. You owe me $5. I'm gonna beat you up with hammers for your crimes. Wait. Okay. That was the interaction? Okay, so that's implying to me that, like, Seth is, like, maybe non-binary? Because they were... I don't remember if, like, what pronouns were being used for them. Maybe it was they, them, and I just didn't notice. Again, the pronoun thing, a lot of times they were just calling each other by name, so I don't know. Maybe they them pronouns have been used for them. But the fact that Seth was avoiding the question, said a tactician never reveals their secrets and stuff. What was the actual line? Hold on, give me a second here. Never reveals any unnecessary information. Which means that Seth sees gender, or at least labeling themselves with a pronoun or gender as maybe unnecessary, which is a thing, by the way. There are people who genuinely don't care how you see them. There are people who, whether you see them as a guy, a girl, non-binary, it just doesn't matter to them. They're kind of apathetic towards the idea. Apagender is what it's called. Hence, apathetic towards gender. Yeah. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. I'm gonna, I guess from this point on, probably just use they them pronouns for Seth. Though, of course, we've already finished the chapter. But whenever I talk about them in the future and whatnot. But yeah, okay, I could see why somebody would have wanted me to see that, considering, Princess of Gay and all of my love of gender related stuff within media and sexuality related stuff and, just queer shit. But that ends our playthrough of Deltarune Chapter 5. Chapter 6 is coming sometime next year. I'm very excited for it, as I've already said. I have my theories. We'll see what ends up being true or not. But that leads us into our next game for Wednesdays. Because Deltarune is over. And because I recently got my Nintendo Switch 2, I think it's about time we get into a Switch 2 exclusive game. Starting right away next week, we will be starting to play Donkey Kong Bonanza. So stay tuned for that, and hope you enjoy what's to come, both from PlayStation 5 games and Switch 2 games in the future. For now, I'm Connie. Let me know your thoughts on Chapter 5 in the comments below. And for now, I'm signing off. See y'all next time.